Well, let's now bring in Josh Hasten. He's a Middle East correspondent for the Jewish News Syndicate. Josh, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Can you talk about the significance of these attacks happening just an hour before ceasefire talks resumed in Cairo?
Yeah, thanks very much, Aaron. So as you know, Israel preemptively struck over 1,000 rocket launchers, which were aimed at our the northern part of the country and the central part of the country this morning. So this was a great success, in my opinion. Unfortunately, we did sustain between 200 and 300 rockets, missiles, and drones sent over by the Hezbollah terrorist organization. That being said, it could have been a lot worse. And thanks to the Iron Dome and all of the other anti-missile defense systems, Israel was successful in shooting down many of these drones, limiting the injuries on the ground. Now, Hezbollah will claim that to do with what's going on with Hamas and whatnot, but Hezbollah has been attacking on it. Everyone understands that. Ever since October the 7th, you're talking about another Iranian proxy on our northern border. They've been attacking ever since Hamas carried out the worst massacre of Jews since the Holocaust. So it all leads back to Iran. They are the head of the octopus. They have tentacles all over Israel and the Middle East. And let's remember, they're calling Israel the little Satan and the United States, the Western world, the great Satan. So that is what we're dealing with. It's really a war on seven dealing with now. And this morning we got a wake-up call in terms of alarms going off at around 5 o'clock in the morning with Hezbollah striking with over 200, between 200 and 300 rockets and missiles. And yeah, the situation is tense, but we're continuing on here, business as usual in most parts of the country. Unfortunately, the northern border, 80,000 residents are not in their homes, which is not sustainable, not acceptable. And Hezbollah and Iran are to blame for that.
Josh, let's follow up on that. I know we talked about the ceasefire talks going on. Today's major escalation, do you think will ultimately impact those negotiations of getting hostages home?
No, I don't really think so. I mean, Hamas has already rejected time and time again every offer that Israel has put on the table. And our prime minister is looking out for the welfare of the state of Israel. And he knows very well that if Israel were to leave that Philadelphia corridor and the Netzarim corridor, Hamas would just go right ahead and continue to smuggle weapons in from Egypt, send weapons from southern Gaza to the north, and continue to relaunch attacks, missile attacks against the Jewish state. Just this past week, Hamas, a suicide bomber actually, went into Tel Aviv, and luckily his bomb detonated prematurely. Hamas took responsibility for it. So no one can claim that Hamas is a legitimate partner here in these talks, as they're trying to murder Israelis in the streets of Tel Aviv and other cities. So I know that people are saying they're connected and whatnot. Even Hezbollah is claiming they're connected. But this is just another day in the life of Hezbollah, a maniacal, barbaric terrorist organization that's been firing rockets and missiles in breach of a ceasefire which was established way back in 2006. They're in breach of that, and they're continuing to fire rockets this morning with over 200 rockets.
Yeah, Josh, you painted a pretty grim picture there of being woken up by rockets at around 5:30 this morning. Now, Hezbollah and Iran have vowed retaliation against Israel for the assassinations of those two top militant leaders in the region. Both assassinations believed to be carried out by the Israeli government. Is there still a major threat of war between Israel and Iran if a ceasefire deal is ultimately reached, or do you think tensions will ease in the region at all?
No, I don't think tensions will ease, because at the end of the day, Iran is pursuing nuclear weapons. That is their ultimate goal. They would like to destroy the state of Israel and destroy the Western world. So even if there is a ceasefire negotiated in Cairo over the next several days, even if that goes through, Iran, their nuclear weapons program, they're also going full force with their ballistic missiles program. Back in April, they launched over 300 rockets, missiles, drones at their capabilities firsthand. And this is not the end of the story. The end of the story happens when the mullahs in Iran are disarmed, when they no longer have the no longer have the ability to present a threat to the state of Israel and to the Western world. So regardless of ceasefire negotiations, this is far from done. Israel would like the help of the Western world in going after Iran, but if necessary, our government has made clear that we will go at it alone. Hopefully we'll have support. If not, we will do it ourselves. We must take out the Iranian nuclear threat. It is an existential threat to the state of Israel. It is not acceptable. And again, that has nothing to do with any ceasefire negotiations between Israel and Hamas.
Josh Hasten, Middle East correspondent for the Jewish News Syndicate. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you.
You're welcome. After the break, what's next for